In Unit 5, Section 2, we are talking about solving inequalities using multiplication or division. So we did adding or subtracting Section 1. Now we'll move on to multiplying or dividing. So first thing we're going to do is check possible solutions. The directions say tell whether the given number is a solution of x over 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. So we'll start by plugging in negative 16 for x. Put that over 8, less than or equal to negative 3. Fraction means I'm dividing. Negative 16 divided by 8 is negative 2. So I have negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 3. That is not a true statement, so I can write no or put an x, whatever you want to do. Negative 2 is greater than negative 3. So that statement is false. For the next one, I have negative 24, so I plug negative 24 in for x. Negative 24 over 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. I divide negative 24 divided by 8, and I get negative 3. So I have negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 3, which is a true statement because they're equal to each other. On the next one, I'm plugging in 0 for x. So I'll do 0 over 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. 0 divided by anything is just 0. So I have 0 is less than or equal to negative 3. That is not a true statement, so I can write no or put an x. I'll leave number 4 for you. Go ahead and try that one. If you have any questions, just ask your teacher. Moving on to the next section, we're actually going to solve inequalities now using multiplication or division. Remember, just like with solving equations, we're just looking to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to start by, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this just so I have more room. I have x over 3 is greater than negative 2. Now, x over 3 is a fraction. That means I'm doing division. So to undo that, or the inverse operation, I would have to do multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by my denominator on both sides, multiply by 3. These 3's will cancel each other out. So I'll have x is greater than negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. My directions tell me to also graph my solution. So just a reminder, I'd put negative 6 on my number line. It's greater than but not equal to, so I have an open circle, and then greater than means I'm going to the right. For our second example, we have 15x is less than or equal to 45. 15x means we're doing multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by 15 on both sides. So I'll get x is less than or equal to 3. To graph that, I put 3 on my number line. It's less than or equal to. The equal to part tells me that I'm going to have a filled in circle, shaded in circle, and then less than tells me I'm going to the left. Now for 3 and 4, there's one rule that you really need to remember when we're doing this. So I'm going to start by rewriting number 3. So I have negative 6x is less than or equal to 48. Negative 6x is multiplication, so the inverse operation would be division. So I'm going to divide by negative 6 on both sides. So negative 6 divided by negative 6 is positive 1, so I'll have x. 48 divided by negative 6 is negative 8. Now here's what you need to remember. I'm dividing by a negative number, so my inequality symbol needs to flip. So I'll get x is greater than or equal to negative 8. Again, that's because of the number that I'm dividing by. Okay, it doesn't matter that the 48 is positive. It doesn't matter that the final answer is negative. It's what you're dividing by. It tells you that you need to flip the inequality. I'll also flip the inequality when I multiply by a negative number. So on our last example, x over negative 5 is division. So I have to do multiplication as the inverse operation. So when I do that, I'll get x, and this will have to flip to less than or equal to negative 60. Again, if I multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality has to flip. Okay, I'll leave 3 and 4 for you guys to graph. Make sure you check that with the answer key or ask your teacher if you need help. On the back side of these notes, we've got a couple word problems to look at. So the directions say to write an inequality for the situation in a verbal sentence, then solve the inequality. All right, so for number 1, it says when you want to buy some new DVDs and spend less than $75, a store advertises a sale where all DVDs are $15. Find the number of DVDs. So I know that my DVDs are $15 each. I'm gonna use D as my variable because I don't know how many DVDs there are. And then I know that I want to spend less than $75. So my inequality symbol will look like this. So if I read that from left to right, I have 15D is less than 75. So to solve for D, I'm going to divide both sides by 15. So I'll get D is less than 5. So that means the most DVDs I could buy is 4 DVDs. On the last one, this one's a little more straightforward. It says a number divided by -4, so that's going to be a fraction. A number divided by -4 is greater than or equal to, so make sure you include that equal to part, -20. So to solve for this, I've got a fraction on the left side, which is division, so the inverse operation will be multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by -4 on both sides. So those -4s will cancel, and I'll have n. -20 times -4 is positive 80. And since I'm multiplying by a negative, I need to flip my inequality symbol. All right, the last part has a few challenge problems. Again, just do your best. If you need help, ask your teacher, but try to give it a shot on your own. All right, that's it for the Unit 5, Section 2 notes.